When I was a kid, the only time I ever saw any LGBTQ plus characters on television, they were relegated to guest roles and bit roles. And these many years later, I'm now a writer on a show where the lead character is a lesbian woman. And I don't know if I ever thought I'd be in having this opportunity. Hi, I'm Aziza Aba Butain, and I'm a writer on Charmed. I just finished my second season. I finished as a story editor, so I was on season 2 and 3 of Charmed. So I think one of the biggest misconceptions about the LGBTQ plus community is that there's one way to be gay or queer or trans. There's a certain manner of speaking, or there's a certain accent to your voice, and it's just not true. And I think a lot of those misconceptions come from the stereotypes that we've seen in television throughout history. And what I'm really excited about is the conscious effort in writers' rooms and behind the camera to work against those stereotypes, to ground these characters in experiences that audience members, even myself, are experiencing. And I think that it's really important that we do that, because while art often reflects life, I think art also informs life. A lot of what we see on television, going back to Will and Grace, it opened a lot of doors for conversations in homes, for conversations in workplaces and schools, that opened people's minds to what the LGBTQ plus experience really is like. And it doesn't rely anymore on those stereotypes and mannerisms that I think television has been largely responsible for perpetuating on its screens. Well, for me personally, as a member of the LGBTQ plus community, it's an opportunity to give members of our community who have not had the same visibility as lesbians and gays the opportunity to finally have that. We have more trans characters on television than ever before. The representation is more grounded and real in those experiences because trans voices behind the camera and in front of the camera are finally being elevated. In the past couple of years, we have more LGBTQ characters on television than we've ever had before. More than half of those characters are people of color. And I think the increase in visibility on television is important because that's what opens doors to conversations at home. That's what opens doors to conversations in the workplace. Your favorite show introduces an LGBTQ plus character, and suddenly you're thinking and talking about these issues that you've largely either not experienced or never encountered before. And I think that's what's the most important about this, is seeing those characters in a way that's almost unavoidable. If you watch any kind of media or television, it kind of forces the conversation. And I think that's the way that we get actual progress, because art informs life. A lot of what you see on television helps people form their opinions. So it's really an important responsibility to take that power that we have and expand it and use it to tell these stories. And maybe there's a little kid somewhere who's watching TV like I was and feeling alone, and seeing a character that they identify with on screen makes them feel less alone, makes them feel like they're validated, they have worthiness about them that is not more or less than the next door neighbor. It's not more or less than the kids at school. It's not more or less than anyone else in their community. And I think that's really important, especially because it's something I wish that I'd had more of growing up. And I'm just thrilled and in awe of the responsibility and the opportunity I have to do that now for someone else. That is straight from the heart.